I remember one experience wherein they built the house, the builder built the house, Capital Pacific Homes, they are not in business anymore. They built the house crooked. Like it was almost like a 30-degree angle from the street. Like when you stand in the street, you can see why is this house crooked? It was so obvious, right?
You're talking about, oh, I need to get a trust set up. And then you go to the cheapest attorney, and then they miss something. And then you pass away, and nobody knows what to do with any of your assets. Your kids are fighting over stuff, and half of your money goes to the government.
Reminds me of what Jim Rohn said. You're the average of 5 people, but you surround yourself with.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have friends who are using the cheapest service, then you also end up using the cheaper service, and you end up being the cheapest around the same. Like you're not really taking it to the next level.
Would I have called you with the $150,000 deal if you were going to pay me $500?
Yes, see,
Would I have ever called you?
I'm a licensed agent. I didn't take commission. I paid and commission. I did it because I know next time the deal comes, Anne is going to call me. Then we bought another home in Buckeye. Money has nothing to do with it. So they might do it for $500. Like if my mom is buying a house, I might do it for free. I might give all the commission back to her. So there is nothing wrong with it. But I'm breaching fiduciary if I don't tell my mom that if I don't ask the right questions and if I don't critique and give her consultation once she buys a home after a year, if the house starts to bend, if I don't respond to her questions, that is fiduciary. It's not. It has nothing to do with money. People
But
can work for free all day long, but it's related, right? If you're not getting paid, how will the guy provide any
how do you
insight?
how do you have like how do you have if you're working for free, how do you have the money to spend on Google pay-per-click and pay the other employee from 7 to 2 that day to do that extra work on top of what you're already doing? How do you have the extra time in your day to make 3 or 4 or 5 more phone calls to buyers in your database to sell their house if you're getting paid nothing? Because you, as a real estate agent, I don't think people really realize the overall cost. We have to pay our own health insurance. We have to pay our own gas. We have to pay for our vehicle. We have to pay for our car insurance. We have to pay our broker. And then we have to pay fees to the association. You can take free classes, but you can also take classes that cost money, which are way far more advanced. So the person that pays for a more advanced class or coaching or training is probably doing a better job for you than somebody that didn't have the training to know how to optimize the sale or uh, there's strategies I learn all the time. I mean, I've done it 20 years and I can sit in a class and I can learn, oh my gosh, I need to do that. Like I need to I'm negotiating during the inspection period, like little things I learned. I just took a Binzer class about 2 months ago, and there's so many little points that I was reminded of that really help my client when I'm negotiating and help me kind of go one layer deeper to protect them. Oh, I better on these older houses, I really have to get a camera every time from a plumber, which is going to cost them an extra 250 to get a camera in down the plumbing on an older house or the roof. I mean, there's so many layers of things I need to know as a real estate agent to protect someone.
So knowledge, experience, everything comes with a price. I mean,
Everything.
everything comes with a
You don't
price.
hire the best painter for the cheapest price. You don't hire the best roofer for the cheapest price. If it is the lowest price, you're cutting corners somewhere.
Somewhere.
You're usually losing more than you're gaining. And that's why the gurus, the experts, they're hiring the best people to advise them because why are you going to take advice from someone that doesn't improve themselves ever, that doesn't spend, it doesn't have to a couple extra employees, helping them provide you with more services to do a better job for you. You're hiring somebody that helps you sign a contract but does nothing more. You might as well do it yourself then.
Right. Well,
you might you might as well, and then that's what cracks me up too, is when people go, oh, I'm going to buy one house and I'm going to go take 90 hours of class to buy one house because I want to do it for free. But then they spend all the money on the classes and the licensing, and then they do one transaction every other year, and they hold their license for about 5 years. And if you just look at the time and the hours and the headache, like they would have been so much better just to pay an expert to do that job. And they're working a full-time job, but they think having their license to do one transaction a year is somehow saving them money. It's actually
it doesn't.
costing them.
It's going to cost them.
Hmm.
I remember one experience wherein they built the house, the builder built the house, Capital Pacific Homes, they are not in business anymore. They built the house crooked. Like it was almost like a 30-degree angle from the street. Like when you stand by the street, you can see why is this house crooked? Like it was so obvious, right? And then we represented them, and then we threatened with lawsuit, and then I hired an attorney for my client, and then my client got $120,000 discount on the house. Wow. So
Yeah.
had they hired a part-timer, the part-timer would have said, "Oh, that is what happens when there is wind, the house moves. You just stay there." And they'll not do it because they got something little. First of all, they'll not have the experience, expertise, and the knowledge on how to do it. But if something goes wrong, you need to have a professional on your side. That's the biggest investment you'll probably make in your life.
And it's even a
Why?
bigger investment than, like, you're talking about, oh, I need to get a trust set up. And then you go to the cheapest attorney and then they miss something. And then you pass away and nobody knows what to do with any of your assets. Your kids are fighting over stuff, and half of your money goes to the government. So you've saved yourself some money here, but then you lose it somewhere else. I feel like also, if you're getting yourself stuck in a mindset in your life that you always are looking for the bottom, the bottom, the bottom, that's what you're going to attract. When you start to think to yourself, I'm worthy of the best. I'm worthy of the best advice. I'm worthy of the best home. I'm worthy of the best. Then you start to attract the best. And that stuff becomes like a magnet in your life and you better yourself. I think that you can really get in a bad place, and a lot of times I think it's your upbringing and it's your mindset over money, that if you're giving over here, somehow you're less, when in reality sometimes when you give and you grow and you give and you grow, you become bigger and better and more wealthy over time. I mean, you don't meet wealthy people that got there with bottom basement pricing for their advisors. You never would meet a wealthy person that would do that.
It reminds me of what Jim Rohn said. You're the average of five people that you surround yourself with.
Hmm.
And if you have friends who are using the cheapest service, then you also end up using the cheapest service, and you end up being the cheapest around the same. Like you're not really taking it to the next level. So we have to play in abundance. Like you said, the wealthy people or people who are the most successful, they are not trying to be penny wise.
Yeah,
And I think that's what I would say.
in the process right now of shopping for a different accountant, because I had an accountant that wasn't very expensive, and I kept settling for subpar service, subpar results, disorganization, frustration. The accountant that I'm talking to now, and I had a long conversation with my brother, and he kind of coached me through this. He's like, "Anne, your success, we were talking about advisors and stuff. Well, the accountant that I'm looking at right now is probably 4 times more money than the existing accountant I'm using. But the peace of mind from me getting everything done appropriately, on time,
Yeah,
organized,
important.
you know what that will do for me and my mindset is, first of all, I'm working with somebody of excellence, and it's going to give me more room to grow and to expand, and I'm expanding because I'm surrounding myself by somebody that's excellent, makes me more excellent. and it just takes me to the next level. And is it a little painful at first to go, oh, I'm paying so cheap, but I'm suffering with cheap. I'm having to do more work with cheap, and it's also causing me to not grow myself. Like I'm not able to expand because I'm doing a lot of the work down here with this person that's charging me so little. I'm ended up doing all this work that I don't have any expertise in and any knowledge of, so that I'm not growing my business, and I'm not using my time to the highest use of my time, my skills, which allows me to grow. If you and I spend an hour doing what we're best at, we make the most money. But when we sit there and we try to backpedal and do other people's job just to save money, and I'm trying to fix my own sink and I'm trying to do my own taxes, then I end up making less money at the end of the year. Like I lost far more than I gained by not just choosing excellence for my life and for my future, you know?
That's
So,
great answer. And I think if you are talking about wealth building, right? If you are talking about buying a house is different. We are talking about wealth building. In wealth building, the advisors you want on your side have to be the best. They are the different pillars. Financial advisor, real estate agent, mortgage broker, all of these, they have to be the best in their craft to give you the right advice. If you have a bad pillar, then it's going to crumble. When there is a problem, the agent who takes like little money, they are not going to advise you when there is a great investment opportunity, because they know that if I tell this guy, he's going to squeeze me for my commission. So I'm not even bother going to go for a client who is going to squeeze the commission. I'm going to go with a guy who is generous and fair with the representation.
would I have called you with the $150,000 deal if you were going to pay me $500?
Yes, see,
Would I have ever called you?
I'm a licensed agent. I didn't take commission. I paid Ann commission. I did it because I know next time the deal comes, Ann is going to call me. Then we bought another home in Buckeye.
Uh-huh. And so how much money have I made you?
Much more. I bought the property for 150. It's now worth over 500,000. And the reason I got it is, see, 450, the 350,000, if I would have asked Ann to give my commission back since I'm licensed for $3,000, $4,000, I could have lost another opportunity where I made more than 200,000.
And yeah, so would the $500 agent ever give you that deal?
First of all, the agent would not know if there is a deal. Even if they knew a deal, they wouldn't ask me if I squeezed all the money from that guy. So it makes logical sense. Actually, we are not even talking about licensed agent or not. If it's a human nature that if you squeeze somebody to their death, they are not going to give a bad service. If you go to a butcher, if you're buying some meat, if you squeeze that guy to the last bone, he's going to give the bag with complete bones and less meat. That's a fact, and that's how the world works. You have to make everybody make the fair share, and only then I think the world will advance.
I remember when my father owns a business, and I remember him expanding, and he was doing inventory management just with his employees, counting inventory, right? Then he went to an expert to really update the software and the inventory management. It was huge, a huge expense to hire a real expert. And it took a couple years, and it probably made him 10, 20, 30 times more efficient and made him so much more money by just getting the right advice from the right, spending the right money on the right software and the right advice from the right person. So sometimes getting that advice is a little bit painful because you spend money to make money. But I feel like, I mean, your example with our relationship, I made you far, far, far more money than
Yeah.
I made, by just having that relationship with somebody that really knows what's going on.
Yeah, and lastly, before we wrap up this session, we made one video about lot of customers losing money by hiring contractors, unlicensed contractors.
Yes,
We made a
I've
video.
seen that.
One client lost $75,000 paying somebody who was not licensed, who didn't have the expertise to do the job, but they were sweet talker and they got it. So you hiring the wrong expertise is going to cost a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah. At some point in time, it's going to hit you.
Yeah.
Get yourself surrounded by the right people, and the right things will happen.